Very good morning, one and all. Our patron, Honorable Shri Abhijit Hekshete sir, Chairman, Navanirman Shikshan Sanstha Ratnagiri, Honorable Dr. B.N. Gaikwad sir, Officiating Registrar, University of Mumbai, and today's guest of honor, Honorable Dr. Shashikant Malunker sir, PG Department of English, BNN College Bhiwandi, and resource person of today's webinar, Dr. S.U. Darekar sir, Honorable In Charge Principal of the college, all the professors, directors, principals, associate professors, assistant professors, research scholars, UG, PG department students, other participants of various institutes of Maharashtra and other states of India. First of all, I, Dr. S.N. Jadhav, Head of the Department of English, extend my warm welcome to all the participants virtually present here for this national webinar organized by the Department of English in collaboration with IQAC of the college and powered by Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune. Dear friends, for the last 1 year, we have been striving through this pandemic situation of COVID-19. Away from the classrooms, we have been meeting our students virtually. Classroom meetings, classroom lectures, library visits, seminars, conferences, workshops have been replaced with virtual meetings, online classes, and such types of webinars. This corona pandemic has recognizably changed the educational scenario. No doubt we have sustained a lot during this corona reign, but one significant thing happened here is that we have been compelled for optimum use of technology. Actually, it was a time's demand. In the present context, I would say due to this internet and technological development, the world has minimized under our fingertips, and we can't deny that. So we as teachers, students, and research scholars have to upgrade ourselves, as again it's a time's demand. We must have to get adequate with this fast-paced world of knowledge. We need to be more industrious to sustain as we are at our place. In tune with this present topic of the webinar, that the exploring the new avenues, English literature in transit has been selected, has been selected. Now it's public platform. Many participants of various disciplines have joined this webinar. At many places, we can see, at many places in many curricula, we can see that English literature is confined to few particular canonical writers and canonical texts. And even in many universities, they are taught. So English literature is seen confined to them. Even research is also around these canonical writers and canonical texts. So because of that, a kind of a redundancy appears in the research also. So research in our discipline still revolves around that canonical text. This eventually brings redundancy in curriculum, in research. As teachers, we have to explore the new avenues, new literatures, and bring it in front of the students. Instead of achieving Shakespeare's and Wordsworth's and other canonical Indian trios and other canonical authors with an older taste, I believe they need to be relished with newer tastes. That is why this particular topic has been selected. As we all know, literature is often considered a mirror of society, as a part and parcel of the society. And if it is so, the present era is the period of technological development. It is the era of development of social media. It goes along with socio-political and cross-cultural issues, political, racial, religious, gender issues, environment issues, psychological issues, some inadequate national and transnational policies of the government, increasing unemployment, and so on. So, as if we consider the literature as a part and parcel of the society, somewhere these things put their impacts on literature, somewhere these things get reflected in the literature. So as teachers, we have to explore these things and approach the literature with some new perspectives. We have to go beyond thematic concerns and adopt some interdisciplinary concerns also, interdisciplinary perspectives also. So with this intention, this topic has been selected. So today we have two eminent guests here. and they will surely put light on these issues. They will thoroughly talk about these issues. I welcome Dr. Shashikant Malunkar sir, today's resource person. I also welcome Dr. B.N. Gaikwad sir, officiating registrar of the university. And I also welcome our patron, Shri Abhijit Hekshete sir, and all the participants here. Now, proceeding further, now may I request our IC principal, in charge principal, Dr. S.U. Darekar sir, to welcome the guest and address the audience. Over to you, Darekar sir. Thank you.
Nirman Shikshan Sanstha established this college in 2001 in Dodamark with a noble intention of imparting higher education in the youth of Konkan region and with a strong belief of serving the society and improving the quality of life of the rural youth in particular. Dodamark is the youngest tehsil in Sindhudurga district of Maharashtra state separated from Sawantwadi in June 1999, having only 56 small villages in its jurisdiction. Geographically, the tehsil locates in the lap of Sahyadri mountain range and touches the border of Goa and Karnataka state. Hence, most of the part of the tehsil in remote and hilly, as it is rightly said, paddy and poverty together. Peoples of the tehsil belong to the economically weaker class section. Due to poverty, remoteness, scarcity of transport facilities, and lack of awareness, the youth of the tehsil had been away from higher education. Initially, the student had to travel more than 50 kilometers for degree education, but this institution has lensed their suffering and brought higher education at their doorstep. Now the institution has been incessantly providing higher education to the youth of Dodamark, Tehsil and adjacent villages of Goa state. The institution is affiliated to the University of Mumbai and offers undergraduate degree in arts, commerce, and hospitality study. It has South NAC accreditation and has been included under UGC Act 2F and 12B, respective, irrespective of the economics advantages and geographical remoteness. The college consistently focus of the co-curricular and extra co-curricular activities for the student. Their participant today webinar will surely be knowledge enrich for everyone. I want again welcome to all. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, Dr. S.U. Darekar sir. Uh, Dodamark Tehsil was separated from Sawantwadi Tehsil in the year 1999, and from that onwards, it's an independent Tehsil of Sindhudurga district. Dodamark is actually Dodamark locates in the lap of Western Ghats. All sorts of biodiversity is available here. Throughout the Maharashtra, Dodamarg is known as the corridor of elephants, and it is enriched with biodiversity. So do visit the place. Now, our honorable patron, Shri Abhijit Hekshete sir, will inaugurate the function. Hekshete sir is the founder chairman of the Navanirman Shikshan Sanstha Ratnagiri. The Sanstha has 3 units at Ratnagiri, Dodamar and Sangmeshwar. Started with traditional graduate programs under his able leadership, the Sanstha made available KG and PG education under one roof. He is a journalist, a social activist, and author. Brought up under the influence of Barrister Nath Pai, Madhu Dandavate, S.M. Joshi, and other social activists, he has voiced the problems of people of Konkan region through his pen. He has organized and actively participated in many protests, demonstrations to seek the justice for the common people. As an author, he is known to the Maharashtra for his acclaimed novel Ranvi Sammal, written in Marathi. He is the source of inspiration for all of us. I'm indeed very happy to have him as the inaugurator of this function. Now, may I request Honorable Shri Abhijit Hekshete sir to address the participants and formally inaugurate this webinar. Over to you, sir. Sir,
Unmute.
yes, sir, yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Namaskar. First of all, I am welcoming to all my colleagues and all my guests for this seminar. This is the very great opportunity had given by university to us to arrange this national level webinar, exploring the new avenues in English literature. I am welcoming here, first of all, with warm regards, Ms. Dr. B.N. Gaikwad, Office Registrar, University of Mumbai, Dr. Shashikant Maurankar, PG Department of English, PNN College, Bhiwandi, our principal, Dr. Darekar, our organizer, Dr. Jadhav, and Mr. More, and all participants. Navanirman Shikshan Sanstha has started 2001, and in recent 20 years, the Sanstha erected near about 3 campuses in Ratnagiri and Sindhurga districts. Our aim is to reach the higher education up to the last door, up to the last steps of the door, and we are going through that. Today's seminar is a national level seminar, and this opportunity has given to the Dodamar College. It is very grateful for us because Dodamar is the college which is located on the boundary of Maharashtra. It is the lastest college of Bombay University. It is on the border of Goa and on the border of Karnataka. So it is Doda Marg. Doda means white and Marg means road. The name is also based on Karnataka language. So the 3 languages in Marathi, Konkani, Karnataka, Malwani, all languages equally in this Dodamarg language. So it's a very nice collaboration and collusion in the language and the literature here. So English literatures, today's subject is the avenue, English literature's transit. The avenues are very, very rich because now still, and as on next also, the English is the main language of the world. We always, specifically our rural students always get scared about English. Why? They cannot understand, they cannot talk, they cannot express in English. And those can express well in English, they have the good opportunity, what they think. But now the world scenario is going to change. Every language has its own market. And also the English literature and the English language is changing in a world language. Because at our time, there was a English literature of Shakespeare's, Wordsworth, Goethe, and all these things. But nowadays, very new writers and very new essays, poet is coming in this literature. And every nation is joining with this English literature, and they are getting the different type of identification. Like Canadian literature, like Indian English literature, like American English literature, like African English literature. And I think this is the very innovative things in the development of this literature. I hope our guest and our experts will discuss deeply on this issue, because I am not the student of English literature. I am the student of Marathi literature. But I am very much cautious about the development of English literature, and I like to know, I like to understand it also. So I'm again very much thanks and welcoming all my dignitaries for this seminar, and I am announcing here that this seminar is inaugurated by me, and it's a golden opportunity. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your formal formal inauguration, and for welcoming all the participants here present for the webinar. Now, it's an opportunity to introduce our guest of honor, Dr. B.N. Gaikwad. Dr. Balaram Gaikwad is presently the in-charge registrar, University of Mumbai. He is the Fulbright postdoctoral fellow of University of Florida. He has sought his postdoctoral degree from University of Florida, United States of America in 2013. Dr. Balaram Gaikwad has sought his PhD in English from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, India in August 2009. He has also qualified NET exam. He has completed his MPhil in 2000. He completed his MPhil in 2004. He has 21 years of teaching experience in teaching English language, English literature at undergraduate, and 15 years experience of teaching at postgraduate levels. In his administrative appointments, is the Vice Principal of Degree College from October 2013. Is the coordinator of NUSSD, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and NG Acharya and DK Marathi College program from December 2014. He was the district coordinator of 50th Youth Festival of University of Mumbai, organized in 2017. He is the head of the Department of English since 2007. Coordinator Remedial Coaching Center of the college from 2010 to 12. Coordinator of Teach India program in college 2013 to till date. He has 2 books in his credit: Representation of Femininity, Society, Identity and Literature, and Socio-Political and Cultural Discourse, Women, Literature and Struggle. He has 7 scholarly articles in reputed international level books and published 12 articles in international journals. Dr. B.N. Gaikwad, sir, is the editor-in-chief of Research Chronicle, an international multidisciplinary research journal, QGC-approved journal under arts and humanities. He is also the editorial board member of International Journal of Humanities and Cultural Studies, Tunisia, North Africa. The Criterion, an international journal in English, UGC-approved journal under arts and humanities, is also on the editorial board member or editorial board of Galaxy International Multidisciplinary Research Journal.
Dr. More, I think let's go ahead, cut it down. Yeah, we will go ahead. No, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, dear participants, I'm very pleased to have Dr. B.N. Gaikwad, sir, officiating Registrar of the University of Mumbai here. So now may I request Dr. B.N. Gaikwad, sir, to please address the participants here.
Thank you, Dr. Ramkishan More, for a very elaborated introduction. And first of all, I must apologize. I can't start my video. I'm in transit. I'm traveling. So initially, many congratulations to the management, the officiating principal, uh, and of Lakshmi Bai Sitaram Halbe College, Sindhudurg, for organizing this one-day national webinar on exploring the new avenues, English literature in transit. I wholeheartedly congratulate the in-charge principal, Dr. S.U. Darekar sir, coordinator, Dr. Sopan Jadhav, Mr. Ramkishan Mori, the IQAC coordinator, and the dear delegates. In fact, in the beginning, there was a bit of disturbance in between, but what I heard, the introductory remarks of today's this national webinar, in this, uh, Dr. More had already concentrated on some of the recent social worldviews and the disturbing social situations in the last 1 year span, and how the whole world is suffering due to the pandemic situation that has been discussed. And in fact, uh, many seminars, webinars, conferences using the digital platform, have been already conducted on these issues. Uh, but largely, what this today's webinar is going to focus on, the theme is that how this exploring the new avenues of and that too with particular focus on English literature in transit. In fact, the last word needs more and more discussion and serious pondering over, because transit is the one word that whole world was revolving around in last 1 year. uh, because uh, the world is already in transit, but because of the situation of pandemic, the transit has really got kind of momentum, and the intensity of that momentum has been very high. And we all, being the student of literature, being the part of this society, and also being into academics, we all realize it very seriously, that literature is nothing but the truer reflection of the social changes and the society that we live in. And so when it holds the uh, truthful mirror of the society, so but naturally the reflections of social changes is the very basis of uh, literary creation. And it is in this context we see that uh, this particular webinar is going to be detailed discussion of that. Just I would like to add here an example that how we all are affected of this social change. uh, a friend of mine uh, who is in London one day, sent me a message that they are going to come out with one publication, and this is going to be a kind of also in itself a Guinness World Record. So she requested me to contribute in that book as my experiences of this global pandemic situation. Um, but I regret to mention here that I couldn't become the part of this because I could not, devote time for writing this and getting my things, published because of the time constraint. But what that indicates is later on that book got published. All people were at their different places, globally located in international places. They contributed their part of writing. It was compiled at one particular destination. It was not published, but in digital platform, on digital platform it was published. And they got the necessary permissions and necessary ISBN number, and then it got published. So the point here is that probably we were not so keen about using technology, or I heard also some experts using the term excessive use of technology in last 1 year. And then a couple of questions came up, and so through this, then the discussions came as the society changing, literature changes, themes change, concentrations, priorities, everything changes. And we also see that these are the things that we need to discuss. One of the another most important things that these counselors particularly have discussed is that because of this situation, what has happened is that psychological counseling was also necessary. And so government universities, educational institutes came out with a supporting hand and provided different kind of support, psychological support to the people, be it in terms of giving direct online numbers, helpline numbers to people, wherein they can any kind of psychological weaknesses, loneliness, if people feel, helplines for the old people, helplines for different age groups, for providing medicine, for providing psychological support, such kind of all things that we all have undergone and witnessed these kind of changes. And I think that also becomes the trendsetter and also becomes the part of, rather inevitable part of literature. And that definitely we will be able to see in the literature which is produced during this time, and also will be published after this situation that we are in present status. So this webinar will also surely consider the recent trends such as the like ebooks and technology and digital media, blogging and other forms of social networking, which has played a significant role in shaping English literature in the current situation. These trends are also useful in promoting the exchange of ideas and access to vital information that assist the analysis of literary works. Digital media has really shaped the all spheres of life, and we'll see that we have seen that it has also shaped the literary production, and literary taste of the readers have also been defined and have undergone change due to this digital media influences. I think these are all the points we need to discuss, and I'm sure that in entire day today that you will utilize to discuss these themes and have critical pointed interventions into this new social changes. Thereby, we together we will be able to establish an understanding how of how exploring the new avenues and that we see in terms of English literature in transit. And by the end of the webinar, we should be in a position to get the answers largely more in a clear manner and comprehensive manner. So at the end, again, I congratulate the organizers. I also congratulate the delegates, uh, and for this whole event, I wish you all the great success. And I thank all of you. I thank the college management and the organizers for inviting me for this intellectual endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm truly overwhelmed to have Dr. B.N. Gaikwad here with us today. And on behalf of my college, I extend my heartfelt thanks and sincere gratitude to Dr. B.N. Gaikwad, sir, for sparing your busy time for us. Now, moving ahead, we are all eagerly waiting for the resource person. Our today's resource person is Dr. Shashikant Malunkar. Dr. Shashikant Malunkar works at PG Department of English in BNM College Bhiwandi, Thane. Dr. Malunkar is a gold medalist postgraduate student of Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has also accomplished his MPhil from the same university. He has completed his PhD at the Department of English, University of Mumbai. He has 26 years of teaching experience at PG and UG levels. He is a recognized research supervisor of University of Mumbai and Madurai Kamraj University. Under his supervision, 3 candidates have successfully completed their PhD and 4 are pursuing, while 2 candidates have completed their MPhil and 1 is pursuing. He is a referee for MPhil and PhD in English, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has presented 19 research papers at national and international seminars and conferences and has published 34 research papers in national and international research journals. He has also worked as a member of several organizing committees and advisory committees at national and international seminars and conferences. As a resource person, Dr. Malvinkar has delivered talks at 10 national seminars and 2 international seminars. He has worked as Vice Chancellor's nominee and subject expert in staff selection. He has worked as examiner and moderator at IBPS, Mumbai. He is an honorable member of Board of Studies in English of Amity University, Mumbai, and KJ Somaiya College, Vidyavihar. He worked as a chairperson for MA English examinations, University of Mumbai, from 2015 to 2018. He has worked as a member of Syllabus Framing Committee for MA English, University of Mumbai. Sir is a poet and short story writer and has participated in competitions of Times of India. He has been working as an IQAC coordinator since 2014, and his endless efforts have resulted in bagging A grade for BNN College from NAC and Best College Award from University of Mumbai in 2018. His achievements are Bandhu Gopal Kadam alias Mukadam Gold Medal at MA English at Shivaji University, Kolhapur in 1992. Professor Atmaram Rao Rane alias Swami Sukhanand Maharaj Paritoshik, Professor Ganesh Raghunath Kokri Paritoshik, Vocational Excellence Award in 2017-18 by Rotary Club UND. His areas of interest are British literature, Shakespearean drama, diaspora studies, neo-diaspora studies, comparative studies, migration studies, geocriticism, spatial studies, Sri Lankan women writing, Nepali women writing, Nepali fiction, trauma and rehabilitation studies, Pakistani women writings, and crunch studies, climate fiction, and so on. His thirst of knowledge doesn't let him stop. Presently, he is pursuing LLB final year. So, such an eminent speaker we have with us today. I'm very glad to have Dr. Malvinkar sir as a resource person. So, without further delay, I request Dr. Malvinkar sir to kindly start the plenary session of today's webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sopan, for such an hyperbolic introduction of mine. Maybe it's your adoration and respect that makes you talk more and more about me. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you very much, Navnirman Shikshan Sanstha, Lakshmibai Sitaram, Halbe College, Dodamarg, for giving me an opportunity to talk on this one-day national webinar. I must thank the patron of the college who really opened up venues for this, because he talked very wonderfully, being a member of management. I also thank Dr. Shambhudev Darekar, sir, in-charge principal of your college, for inviting me. I thank the coordinator of the program, Dr. Sopan Jadhav, and IQAC coordinator, for giving me this opportunity to deliver a talk on this topic, exploring the new avenues, English literature in transit. At the outset, I'd like to say that 2020 and 2021, the beginning of this, has been passing through a transit all over the world because of the COVID-19 pandemic that has been still prevailing in most of the countries in the world. For the last year, we have been attending number of seminars, webinars on this virtual platform on the pandemic literature, on the epidemic literature. Once again, we went back to a number of books, canonical texts that explored pandemics, epidemics, and number of other diseases that affected nations and generations. Today, as this topic has been given to me by the organizer, I'd like to talk on not the canonical text as has been stated by the coordinator, Dr. Sopan, that English literature is a vast, fathomless area wherein we get an array of expressions and experiences and sensibilities of writers, male, female, both, from various countries who go on contributing to this ocean of literary production. There are a number of avenues open for readers, critics, writers, researchers for exploring these. As far as English literature is concerned, I will not talk of the transit today, that is the I-Fi. That is the fiction that is being produced because of this, what we say, virtual platform and the readers and the speakers and the writers. I will not talk of the technology. I will not talk of Shakespeare. I will not talk of Chaucer. I will not talk of the canonical texts. I will talk on the very specific word transit and the modern literary productions and different genres that are coming up in these days. They're not exactly totally new, but they are rather digressing from the canonical path of their writing. So I'd like to first of all talk on this crunch literature. Crunch literature is nothing but literature and finance. As Wordsworth says, we are the people who think about getting and spending, spending, getting, full stop. Means we all sum up our lives in getting and spending, spending and getting. Human values are unfortunately associated with finance, financial status, economic status of a person, of a family, of a nation. And we are in this era wherein money matters a lot. Wherever there is money, there is value associated to that. So such kind of literature which is being produced in the first decade of 21st century, that has seen how the terroristic attack of 9/11 affected human relationships, wherein finance mattered a lot. It is the literature that talks about financial breakdown. Financial breakdown is wherein we find that the smooth functioning of societies, the smooth functioning of families collapsed because of number of things that happened. You know, people lost their jobs. Naturally, human relations shifted. The social scenarios shifted. Whatever we are passing through is also a kind of crunch area, we can say, because the class structures are changing and so also the familial structures are changing. We see there were many divorces. The husband-wife relationship goes for a toss. And this is very much evident in Crunch Lit. This is a book written by Katie Shaw, and she coins new words, he-sation and she-sation. He-sation means the financial decisions taken by him, he means man, in the family, affects the entire familial structure and the conjugal relationships. Cessation, on the other hand, is that wherein the wife or she in the family, the woman in the family, goes on taking the decision, and that decision affects the human relationships and the bond in the family. And this is very much evident in the writings of Sebastian Falks, A Week in December, A Fear Index by Robert Harris, which talks about share market and the values of the investments that fall. And as these values fall, human relations are strained. Capital by John Lancaster also talks about this, wherein investments and the resultant stress being experienced by the people. So also Union Atlantic by Adam Hasley, that talks about how financial decisions affect human relationships. And these human relationships are very much evident in the writings of these. And this is a new sort of genre that has appeared in the last decade, wherein we can see that these are not canonical texts. They are the texts wherein one can do research, one can read, write, and can rise as a researcher or as an academician, wherein you can throw light upon these new avenues that are coming up. The next type of literature or genre which I would like to talk, there may be some objection to this from the organizers as well, because I am purely focusing on fiction. I'm not taking into consideration poetry or drama or essay writing. I'm focusing only on fiction because I find fiction very vibrant and common. Poetry is not everybody's cup of tea. So also drama is an art that is to be performed and not to be read and analyzed. And so for me, poetry and drama are rather very passive, though vibrant, but they have their niche existence, very limited existence. On the contrary, I find fiction has a pan existence everywhere, wherever you go, in whichever language you see, in whichever literature you see, you find fiction, maybe in the form of short stories or maybe in the form of novels. So the second type of genre, new genre that I've taken for today's discussion is climate fiction. And climate is an inseparable part of human life. Today, we are passing through this climate, the pandemic of COVID-19. This is very much evident how it is barricading us, putting us behind our doors, making us, forcing us to stay indoors. So climate fiction is that fiction which talks about global warming, freezing, plagues, and number of other pandemics that affect human lives. This deals with climate change. It is because of the human interference, intervening into nature, how it affects the entire climate, and resultantly, it affects human body, human relationships. Because as temperature increases around us, our mood changes. So also our relationships change. The words, what we talk, we just talk and talk and talk. That is just expressed through words. And this expression is nothing but the expressions of emotions. And it is always being affected by the environment and the surrounding or the climate we are put into. So as far as this kind of literature is concerned, it talks about the climate change, mainly climate change. And due to climate change, the human relations change. As these relations change, maybe husband-wife relationship, daughter-son, daughter-father, daughter-mother, son-father, everywhere, there are number of changes in human bond, and these are because of the climate wherein we are putting as it changes. So also it changes the social hegemony and many other changes that take place. There are some writers which I have selected for this is Alan Folsom, The Exile, which is the bestseller novel, which is talking more on your global warming. Written on the Body by Janet Winterson also talks about global warming, climate change, and the changes in human relationship. Green Earth again talks about climatic changes. Prey talks about climatic change and also human relations in resultant they change. Day of Confession. So these are some of the texts. Now we can call them canonical texts because we have to change our perspective to look towards the production of art, to look towards literary texts. These are the texts that talk about global freezing, global warming, climate change. They talk about pandemics. They talk about plagues. They talk about war and the resultant plagues. So these as change, the human relations shift. And as human relations shift, we find the cultural production taking place. The next is something which is very different, transgressive fiction. This is a new genre which I find very much interesting. You people might have seen Amir Khan with a cut here in the head and tattooed everywhere on his body because of his loss of memory. A hero with wound, a hero with no romantic haircut, a hero with everything tattooed on his body comes up, totally smashing the idea or notion of romantic hero of Bollywood or Hollywood, whatever. So why is this and how is this? You might have come across Kanchana, another hero wrapped in sorry. So transgressive fiction is the fiction of the subaltern, the fiction of not the binaries, but some non-normative, non-hegemonic hero. These are the characters in such fiction are who feel confined by the norms and expectations of society. They are under the burden of the social and hegemonic normative society, wherein the society always has this is right, this is wrong, this is must do, must not do. So these are certain ethical, moral codes and cryptograms fixed wherein we try to fit ourselves. These people, these heroes, they throw away all these norms. They try to come out of those confinements and confined spaces. They come out in an unusual ways, in illicit ways, and celebrate their existence as humans. They have their extensive taboo subject matters which are non-normative. The symbols and motifs behind them are drug addiction, common for them, sexual activities common for them, violence is common because being beaten or fighting or smashing something makes them bleed, and when they bleed they feel relaxed. So violence is common, incest is common, pedophilia to establish relations with a very young child, and crime. These are very much common features and canons of these writings because of the anxiety, separation, depression, and a resultant, a kind of reaction to that. And that is why this word or term was coined by Los Angeles Times literary critic Michelle Silverblanc. Okay, let us see who are the writers and what are these. Chuck Palahniuk is one of the eminent writers who has been an editor, a columnist, and majority of his novels have been turned into movies. Fight Club is a wonderful novel where we are really hypnotized into the world of Fight Club. If at all you see it, it's a wonderful movie to watch. And that talks about how this kind of transgressive heroes who are busy with all these, they succeed into their own ways of living life. They are not normal. They are not hegemonic. Lolita, on the other hand, is about pedophilia. Last Exit is again Last Exit to Brooklyn talks about the transgressive fiction wherein the characters are not normal, they are abnormal, they are struggling in the normative society, and they find alike their alikes. They form a nexus with their own like people, and they form their clubs, they form their drinks, they form their unions, their gatherings, and they celebrate their niche existence. And that is why this kind of studies is very much necessary these days in English literature, because we are done with Shakespeare, done with many writers, done with all novelists which are canonical. Now we should look at this kind of literature that is coming in transit. Okay, the next we are, I'm much fascinated about this term, lab lit. Lab lit is a combination of maybe a part of sci-fi, scientific fiction. Lab lit means laboratory literature. Laboratory literature is a combination of sci-fi and the trauma and rehabilitation studies. Trauma and rehabilitation studies is psychoanalytical stuff. At the same time, scientific fiction is another genre. Now, these two are brought together. Lab lit is not at all scientific fiction purely, but it never talks about any kind of experiment. It never talks about any sort of invention, but it talks about the majority of characters are in laboratory and they undergo a kind of what we say trauma in their lives. The stress of interactions, the pressures in the laboratories, the stress of inventions, the stress of remaining without any food, without any sleep, without any peace of mind, remaining in laboratory, consumed with all those ideas all the time. And suppose A is nearing to the success, B becomes a culprit and tries to exploit whatever inventions are being made. And this is how the human relationships between them get strained. And such kind of literature is called as lab literature. Lab lit novels are mainstream or literary stories about practices of science as a profession. They are not talking about experiment, but they take the characters who are practicing science as a profession, who spend much of their time in laboratories. And it is set in some semblance, and it is not science fiction. It is not historical fiction. It is about actual scientists. It is about their way of living, how they go on living in the world, real world. It is scientists living in the real world, how they go on leading their life. And the hot topics in science and in academia are the major themes. They are talking about the reproducibility, means how their professions affect their body. They talk about the scientific ethics and gender biases, how women are mistreated, and how in laboratories they are exploited. So these are some new talks that the world writers are talking about. And we should remove now our specs of English literature alone, that is Chaucer, Donne, and Shakespeare, and Marlowe, and Jane Austen, and Pride and Prejudice, but come to this and go on exploring these as something new, which will help us to stand on the world platform and talk a lot and understand the subaltern stances of the writers. The next, these are some of the writings, these are some of the texts: Panther's Dilemma, Carbon Dreams, and Paper. There are many more novels. If you go on Google, you'll find a number of writings which are coming up as lablet, and people are now thinking about beyond experiments, trying to know who invented what, and not that, but how he was or she was reacting at the time of invention. So lablet is a wonderful genre for study. The next genre I would like to talk is queer fiction. Queer fiction is again a non-normative, which is now getting Pulitzer Prize. There's a small book, Less, which got Pulitzer Prize of 2018. So queer is again, these writers never talk about men and women or the sexual binaries or biological gender identities. BTQAI plus. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So queer fiction talks about number of identities. First is trauma of identities. These are the communities: lesbian, gay, bisexual, pansexual, transgender, genderqueer, intersex, agender, asexual, and number of them which are neither men nor women. They are the people who now are voicing, vocalizing their trauma. They are searching for their own comfort zones. They are trying to explore and explode the canonical texts. A rereading of Achilles and Patroclus, wherein we find Penelope and many other Greek characters are in the same category. Psyche of confusion, contemplation, homophobia. There are a number of things which we can study in queer fiction, which goes on having a lot of avenue, a vast avenue for exploring and studying. The themes can be identity as a major theme, which is now being discussed on many platforms and in many articles and books. It is again talking about multiple relationships of these people. It talks about the trauma of identities. This is very psychological and basic because of the normative hegemonic cryptograph that is there in our mind, which is always embossed. So rehabilitation of these people, the heteronormativity and challenging norms that are there, and the cross-dressing these days. Nowadays, you find that the girls are smoking. I'm staying in Mumbai, and I find girls are smoking and wearing different dresses, and boys are keeping long hair and tattooing their bodies. And the dresses are changing. So cross-dressing is cross identities. So we are on the crossroad. Literature is on the crossroad. It is not at all purely literature as a single discipline, but it is touching upon number of disciplines. One at the one hand it is with climate, the other hand it is with queer, at the third it is about laboratory, the fourth it is about something else, economics. Uh, Likewise, we can see a number of things that are happening in literature. These are, you see, Andrew St. Greer. The narrative technique is so wonderful that we are hypnotized by the writer's style of writing. It is the winner of Pulitzer Prize. And Greer is a gay writer who celebrates his gayism. And Les, the character, Robert Les, is a man of 50 who is a gay, who is living with number of men partners, and finally returns to his wife, again man. So as far as these writers are concerned, we have number of writers who are now celebrating their subaltern sexual identities. Sham Salvadora is funny boy, or there is a black writers, majority of black American writers came forward celebrating their queer identities as identities, non-normative, but as identities. They celebrate, they are proud of their identities, and that is why canonical identities are thrown away. We are now into the margins, and literature or literary production these days is in these margins and peripheries, which are coming out with such a punch in the face of experiences of people that we are either accepting as a surprise or as a shock for our own understanding of nature. The next is we have this is another genre which I find very much interesting. Speciesism. Normative society is a species. Being born in Mumbai is a different species. Working in Mumbai is another species. Working at Dodamar is another species. You know, people look down, look up. You know, we have our lenses all the time changing. We go on always saying that we should do this, we should not do that. Means we treat our own people, our own class into different species. Means people are divided into species, people are divided into geographical spaces, and these spaces are species. So speciesism talks about racism. It talks about every animal has a right to live. PETA. Every animal has a right to live, and we all should turn into vegetation and vegetarian foods. That is the advocating principle of speciesism. Every animal has a right to live. The controversial and philosophical debate in this is still foreign to Marriott, and the term suggests it befalls under the same classification as racism, sexism, because men consider still themselves superior to women. There is no space for old people. There is no space for children. The literature of and about children is very limited. The literature about old people is again limited. So speciesism goes on talking about different species within humans, different castes, different races, and then the principle of living, all livings, all lives of animals, all animals, they also are lives. They also should be treated equally. And so the moral consideration or the differing treatment that is given by people, by certain people, to either individuals or to different species members is being discussed in these texts. And that is a wonderful genre, and recent researches are taking place on these genres. This involves treatment of members of one species as morally more important, like human beings, or white species, members than other species. For example, black race, yellow race. So, as far as these species are concerned, they show number of different treatments, language, relationships with them. It is a discrimination based on species and the privileging, fetishing of some. Fetishing of some means lion is important, elephant is important. Elephants must be saved. Lions must be saved. Why not crows? That's the question. As crow or a pigeon or a sparrow is commonly found, for them there are no rules. Anybody can take a stone, throw at it, and may kill a rabbit or a pigeon. So, as far as literature is concerned, it talks about speciesism. It talks about how different species are treated with difference, whereas some species, like Animal Farm of George Orwell, wherein the pigs say all animals are equal, but some are more equal, wherein pigs consider themselves as very important. More, more important means they place themselves on the higher pedestal, whereas the others, like donkeys and elephants and the horses, are continuously working. Okay, these are some of the texts. Toni Morrison's Beloved and Animal Fables after Darwin, wherein literature on speciesism and metaphors about animals are in detail discussed by Chris Danta. Just to talk a little more about this, this is a new concept that is an Indian one, which I want to just give an interlude to the British or Western talks, Prakalpana literary movement, wherein genre is no more a specific genre. A fiction doesn't remain now fiction, poetry doesn't remain purely poetry, drama doesn't remain purely drama. So new genre is coming up. This is especially a movement that has come from West Bengal. West Bengal, and there are writers who are mixing the genres. They are mixing the genres. They are mixing drama with novel, with short stories, with some poetry brought into it, and some mimic brought into it, some acting brought into it, some music brought into it. So, as human beings, we all never talk grammatically correct all the time. We go on having number of other ways of expressions into our articulation of ideas or emotions. Prakalpana movement believes into it. We believe as using number of other ways of expressions. Similarly, Prakalpana movement, literary movement, amalgamates all literary forms. It takes drama, natya, It takes poetry, kavita. It talks about novel, takes some extracts of a novel, some excerpt from a short story, some music from somewhere, some acting, famous sort of act from somewhere, some noise from somewhere, some noise of some animal or bird, and they mix it, and whatever comes out is prakalpana. Now, this goes on giving proper use of imagination, wherein the way we think, it should be appearing on text. It is a fusion of artistic fusion of prose, poetry, story, essay, drama, cinema, songs. You know, like a dancer uses a number of ways of dancing, maybe breakdance and kathak and kuchipudi and classical and mm, disco, etc. Similarly, an artist brings all sorts of artistic fusions and amalgamates them into a single form, and that is called as prakalpana. It is neither a novel, nor a short story, nor a drama, neither poetry, nor an essay, but an amalgamation of all these. Cinema is also brought into it, song is also brought into it, music is also brought into it, and also mimicking, wherein only expressions are brought. So prakalpana, it makes or encourages writers to mix genres. For example, we can see Arvind Adiga's Between the Assassinations, without a hero, without a form, without the normative society, without a beginning, without a middle, without an end. So, as far as Between the Assassinations is concerned, it is never considered as a novel. It is beyond a novel. It is. It doesn't have a hero. It doesn't have a heroine. It doesn't have a plot line. It doesn't have a beginning. It doesn't have a middle. It doesn't have an end. Similarly, this is what is being seen in Indian writing, that people are or writers are coming up with novel ideas of writing and trying to give literature in transit. This is bizarre fiction. Probably I'm coming to the concluding part of my presentation. Bizarre fiction is an amalgamation of many things. It talks about subversive, weird, and entertaining works. It is basically an absurd way of writing. It goes on bringing all absurd elements. It brings a satire. It brings grotesque and many more elements in writing. And this is a common with speculative fiction genre. It brings fantasy, horror, and sci-fi together. Sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. All the three are brought together, and this is a kind of fiction which is developed after 2005 independently, and it is talking about how readers and critics are often connecting themselves with avant-garde movement to Dadaism and Surrealism, which is a combination of science fiction, horror fiction, grotesque fiction, and fantasy. So there are some of the writers like M.P. Johnson in Berserkoids is a book, Skullcrack City, Haunt, Lost in the Brain, Lost in the Cat Brain. So such writings are coming out which go on amalgamating science fiction, means wonders of science because of the inventions, how there are changes taking place, science fiction, horror. For example, you might have seen Hulk, the movie, and the grotesque. So science, horror, and fantasy, these are amalgamated and a new genre is brought, and that is known as bizarro fiction. Recently, young generation is very much into reading this. This is the bibliography which I tried to bring forth for the readers who want to go for reading these. Crunchlit, we have many writers. We have Clive, many writers in it. We have transgressive fiction, several writers are there. Lablet, we have even in Lablet, we can also study Jurassic Park, commonly seen movie which by all of us, how laboratory inventions lead to trauma in human life. So Lablet can be studied accordingly. We have LGBTQIA plus narratives. There are many. If you read, there will be not less than 30-35 writers we will find on single page of Google, which shows that there are many writers who celebrate their LGBTQIA plus identities in their writings. Speciesism, you can look into number of writings like Toni Morrison, then Danta Chris, Animal Fables after Darwin, and many more are there. Bizarro, we have just now discussed. And finally, I would like to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to present my views on the recent developments in literature and literary production, especially on fiction, because I have not taken into consideration poetry, drama, essay, and criticism, which are also part of this. I find fiction personally more vibrant, and so I concentrated more on focusing on fiction itself. And it is common and easy to take away and read wherever possible. There are also presentations and researches being made on movies, symbols used in movies, plays, which I will not be talking here because time won't allow us. I must thank the organizers, especially Dr. Sopan Zadav, for giving me an opportunity to deliver a talk on this, and also thank Halbe College for giving me this opportunity, the coordinator of IQAC, and also the audience who are really interested into this new avenues, researchers, students of literature who peacefully, calmly listened to me for really for an hour. Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to share my views. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You have really explored a new avenue, sir. Bypassing the canonical texts, you have explored crunch literature, climate fiction, transgressive fiction, lab-lit, queer fiction, speciesism, even bizarro fiction, parikalpana literary movement in India. Sir, your ideas are very well organized and you have explained everything in a very lucid language. So on behalf of my college and on behalf of all the participants present for the webinar, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude towards Dr. Shashikant Malvinkar sir. I would like to mention one thing here. This particular webinar is powered by Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune. So please do visit the website of Tolani Maritime Institute.
English Literature in Transit, organized by English Department in collaboration with IQAC of the college. At the outset, I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. Shashikant Malvinkar, BNN College, Bhiwandi, and Research Guide, University of Mumbai for delivering talk on the topic, exploring the new avenues, English Literature in Transit. Sir, we really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. A special thanks to Dr. B. N. Gaikwad, Registrar, University of Mumbai for addressing to the virtual gathering. I would also like to thanks to Honorable Mr. Abhijit Hegsetti sir, Chairman of Navnirman Shikshan Sanstha Ratnagiri, for delivering inaugural speech and motivating us. I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. Yeshu Darekar, for his enthusiastic support and guidance. Very big thanks to all the participants for their active participation in the webinar. I must thanks to respected Captain Krishnamurthy and Iyer, Principal of Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune, for providing us Zoom platform. Also thanks to Professor Rahul Kale for providing technical support on behalf of Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune, and immensely contributing in making this webinar successful. Lastly, a special thanks to teaching and non-teaching staff for their unflinching support and coordination. With these warm words and kind message, we move to the end of today's webinar. Thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. I once again, on behalf of my college, I extend my sincere gratitude towards all the participants present for the webinar.